You're on mute, bro.
What are you saying?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You there, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, what are you saying, bro? You all good?
Yeah, man. Blessed. Been good, man. Watching a lot of football. Disappointing weekend, in my opinion, this weekend. But, I guess we're going to get stuck into it, man. I hope you're good, my guy.
Yeah, all good, bro. All good. Can't complain. Obviously, Jeff and Rash can't make it today. So apologies from them. Responsibilities, as we always say, life gets in the way. So they're all good and well. So big up to them every time. And obviously, smash the likes, people. Support the channel, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc. Subscribe, follow, all those good things. And always remember to smash the likes. But as Jalil said, another weekend of Premier League football is in the books. Plenty of drama as always in the Premier League at the moment. But let's start off with probably the biggest game of the weekend and arguably maybe the most dramatic too. Newcastle Liverpool on Sunday. Newcastle 1-0 up. Gordon's doing a madness. Trent is looking shaky as hell. Van Dijk gets sent off. And you're thinking, boy, long day for Liverpool. 1-0 down at St. James's Park. Newcastle on the up. But then Liverpool rode on. And to be fair, Newcastle had a few chances. Especially there was one, Harvey Barnes. I'm surprised no one's getting onto him for this. He could have just squared it across to Wilson for a simple tap-in. 2-0 game over, but he didn't want it to be greedy instead. Liverpool rode out, and then Darwin Nunez comes on, and boy, two of the coldest finishes you'll see, and probably the finishes that Liverpool fans expected to see when they signed them a year ago. But he's showing glimpses this season, end of last season. He's showing good glimpses, Nunez, and maybe now he will finally get the start and get a run of games to show what he can do. But yeah, Gillo, what did you make from the game? Because obviously, yeah, Liverpool came back to win with 10 men for 60 minutes or something against Newcastle away. So yeah, what were your kind of conclusions from the game?
Yeah, I was looking at that game, and when Van Dijk went off and you saw Trent having a shaky game, I would have thought Gomez would have come in a while ago for his place to replace him, or whoever plays right back, But for me, it was an entertaining game to watch. Probably the game of the weekend. We all love a comeback, especially with 10 men down. Well, 10 men against 11. You love to see it. But the Van Dijk one, for me, I don't know, man. I understand last man and everything, but as soon as it happened, I was like, it's not a red. It's definitely not a red kind of thing. But looking back at it now, the rules of regulation and everything, it was definitely a red in that terminology. Last man got his ankle. Isaac was very quick there. He knows what he's doing. Very, very tricky player. But if I'm being honest with you, from that part, I thought, yeah, it's a battering. Now we're going to say about 3-0, unfortunately. Liverpool, it's not the same Liverpool I saw a couple of years back now. You do the business and that, But the fight I saw from Liverpool, and Nunez have obviously been benched for the first couple of games of the season and everything. For him to come and do that, get the game winners, he's trying to make a statement, man. And I big him up for it because, when I look at the Liverpool front line and from how I base it off last season and kind of players you want to play, everything, I think, Klopp normally gets it spot on. I always have Salah on the right, regardless, right? I have either Gakpo or Jota, and then Luiz on the left and that. So it was quite interesting to see the mix up this week, for a game like this. But Nunez is trying to say, start me. This is what it needs to be. I'll play on the left, I'll play on the right, wherever up top. And this kind of stuff, this kind of headaches that when you look at it, all that attack and threat, and for them to come back, you look at it and after a game, and obviously I know we're going to touch on the Arsenal game. You look at it like, wow, we had 11 men, they had 10 men, and they came back kind of thing. But then you look at this kind of team, and this is what a team's made for. This is what a team is about and everything. And yeah, Liverpool done the business for me, man. Played really well. I don't know how they done it because Newcastle's not shit, but Amouan was having a half decent game. I don't know if you saw him, but he was active. You know, they were doing the business. Joe Linton, God, how did he become? How was he a striker? Now he's a ball player midfielder. He played well, bullying them, letting them know his presence was there. And that's kind of what you want. That's what you want to see and everything. Obviously, he's not up there with them lot, but you know, he's half decent. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
And, yeah, man, they played really well, man. I expected them to do the business and get Liverpool done with, but I'm just still shocked and surprised about how it went down. And those 2 goals, I mean, I could have said it better myself. Those are 2 class goals that you want to see from a striker like that doing the business. You know, he's been missing those kind of goals all last season. Where was that? So you can tell in the summer he's been working on his finishing. You know, so yeah, no, it's good to see. Good to see from Liverpool. You know, I think after the next couple of games, once we go to the court, maybe in the first international break, I might have to reconsider my top 4. I'll say that for you.
Okay. Did you not have Liverpool in your top 4?
I did, but I had them. I might have had them 4th. You know, I can't remember. I want to have them. I want to have them higher. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think Nunez's finishes were fantastic. I think Liverpool did so well to ride out Newcastle pressure. And you know, obviously Trent struggled against Gordon. We're not going to deny that. Gordon played really well. Trent had a hard time. But even then, he kept going as well. Gomez came on. I thought was good because he's been shaky for a while, but he was good he came on. And obviously, like, you know, for like Liverpool's second goal, we didn't see Salah much in the game. Very quiet. But then in that moment, the pass is perfection. The touch before the pass is what makes the defender plant himself. So then by the time he plays the pass, can't then intercept it. So very, very clever from Salah there and brilliant. And obviously the finishes from Nunez, fantastic. But I do think Liverpool, brilliant for them. That's a unreal win. 10 men, St. James's Park.
Not easy. 1
to unreal win. Unreal. And now they've come off first 3 games, they've got 7 points out of 9, and they can already tick off Chelsea away, Newcastle away.
That's crazy, isn't it?
And you're comfortable. You're good where you are. You feel good. You haven't played at your best, and you've got 7 points out of 9. And you've played Chelsea and Newcastle away, 2 of the hardest games you're going to play. Newcastle, on the other hand, I think they showed they're not quite ready to be a big team. Because let's be honest, bro. If Arsenal are 1-0 up to Liverpool, and then play 60 minutes a man up and lose the way they did, they are the number 1 talking point. If Man United do that, they are the number 1 talking point. If City do that, they're the number 1 talking point. Everyone will be eviscerating them, saying it's embarrassing, it's a shambles. Newcastle showed a lot of inexperience. It's almost like they didn't know. It's like, oh, we need to kill this game. And if you're not going to kill the game, once it comes down to 80 minutes, it's like, okay, we haven't killed the game yet. There's no point leaving for us to leave space in behind for Liverpool when we're a man up. We might as well go back a little bit, let them keep the ball with 10 men. We'll pick them off on the break, game over, done and dusted. They just played that game so bad. And now, even if you look at them, bro, they've now got 3 points from 9 from their first 3 games. They've now got Brighton away next. They lose that, you're now talking about 3 losses in your first 4 games. Just like that.
And Brighton's not going to roll over as well, you know.
Brighton ain't going to roll over. So just like that. So for me, like, obviously, I think, obviously, when I did my predictions, I think I didn't have Newcastle in my top 4. I had Villa 4th.
Yeah.
And then after last week, I was tempted to swap that round. Even though now Villa are looking good again. So, I mean, you know, I would say they're actually ahead of Newcastle. But yeah, I think Newcastle, again, the squad depth, bro. You take off Isaac, Tonali, and Gordon, and you bring on Barnes, Longstaff, and Wilson. That's a drop off.
It is. It's meant to be stronger. It's meant to be stronger or same level, but
so once Champions League starts, if they get a few injuries, boy, Newcastle got some work to do. I can't lie.
They do.
They got some work to do. But now, listen, big up Liverpool. Fantastic win for them. And big up Nunez as well, because he's got a lot of sticks since he came to England. But like, you can only big him up, man. Those two finishes were cold, especially the first one. Unreal. Bottom corner slapped it in, man. So, yeah. Big up Mike in the building. That's my brother, my cousin from Nigeria. Big up Mike, man. Big up for tuning in, bro. Hope you're well, brother, man. Much love for tuning in, man. Big up, man. But listen, let's move on to the Arsenal game. 2-2 at the Emirates against Fulham. Now, this obviously very disappointing result for Arsenal. Given that, they were a man up towards the end. They came back from a goal down. Very poor goal to concede the first one. Very poor goal. Saka, terrible back pass to Ramsdale. Pereira almost did the disguise to the front post. I think
he tried to lob him.
I think he tried to lob him, but he just missed it, innit? Mishit it.
It worked though, so who cares?
It went in. Exactly. Arsenal came back. Penalty for a penalty. Saka scored it, and then Vieira, beautiful cross to Nketiah, goal. And then Arsenal obviously giving away that corner, Zinchenko losing the ball, and then Palhinha scoring from the corner. In the end, Arsenal almost lost it. Traore, last minute. Ramsey had to make a big save. But listen, bro, obviously the number one talking point from Arsenal's draw with Fulham is, and I think this is unfair, I don't rate him as a player in the slightest. I think he's awful. But everyone is still scapegoating him, and that's Kai Havertz. Everyone is blaming Havertz for the fact that Arsenal don't look as good this season, don't look as fluid. That was the whole talk after the weekend. Obviously, the party thing at right back and the fact that Gabriel was randomly on the bench too, that's all weird as well. But Kai Havertz, how much of Arsenal's not poor, but lackluster performances so far do you put on Kai Havertz and the fact that Arsenal are trying to adapt him into the system? Or do you think that Arteta is just generally overcomplicating things as a whole, and it's not just Havertz?
I think it's a mixture, if I'm being honest. I look at it like this, right? I understand he came in for 65 mil, 70 mil, something like that. So 65 M's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he came in. We came in and we was like, it's a second option for a striker. We'll do that. Then we got told that hold on, he's gonna be playing more of a central role, that left side of centre mid where Xhaka done the business. And if we're being honest, Xhaka's done the business there for 2 years now. So you're always gonna have big boots to fill. I mean, it's like Saliba goals, and then we have a centre back. You've got big shoes to fill. That's just common, right? So you're always going to be held at a standard regardless of what it is. Now, 65 mil is not cheap. Like 65 mil is a starting 11 player, right? If you think about it like that, they get their big numbers. They're meant to be doing the business. I personally think a lot of the reason why we're playing shit here is not because Partey's at right back. It's not because Jay's saying up top. It's not because Zinchenko's not been playing. It is because of Kai Havertz. I'm not one to scapegoat. I'll be honest with you.
No, you're not.
I'm not one to scapegoat, but I think this whole signing confuses the shit out of me. I'm still swearing, but it confuses me. That's how confused I've got. I swore twice. You know what I'm saying? It's just trying to make it sound better because I don't understand what he brings to the game, bro. If I'm being honest with you, and I think in the pre-season, if I'm not mistaken, Trossard played there for a bit. If we're kind of looking for someone who can do the business there, I'd play Trossard. I don't understand why Trossard keeps coming off before him. And I think the reason why is because they have a boardroom, a meeting all the time after a game. What do you think went right? What do you think went wrong? How could we how could we be better? What should we be more consistent at? And that's kind of the normal stuff you go through with business and everything. The Cal Havertz one, you know, if you look at the first few games, Arteta's probably going to go in there like, yes, we played poor, but did we lose?
No.
Did we lose? And that's the kind of mentality. This is my side. I mean, Eddie's signing. We're going to justify this. He's going to play, and you're going to see why. And I kind of think that's what he's stuck with. He's stuck with that. Me personally, I don't really give a crap about the big signings and that 65 mil, 100 mil. I feel like if you're not doing a business, you're not fitting in. We take the L. We go back to a different system. We mix it. We play the right players there. I'll even play Vieira there instead of Havertz. And you know me, I'm not the biggest Vieira fan. But he came on. He came on that game. For me, if we would have won, he would have got man in the match. He was active. He was running. He wanted the ball. He weren't hiding. Most people are hiding. Okay, cool, just passing the ball. But he's like, give me the ball. And he made stuff happen twice. He got us a pen, and he did that beautiful ball into Eddie and Nketiah. Do you know what I mean? So when fans, when I'm looking at all these YouTube, we're in the group chats and Arsenal fans are talking about the reason why we lost. I don't want to get pissed off when everyone's like, Kyle Havertz didn't do fuck all, because he didn't. Because if you look at the bigger picture and everything along those lines, like he's meant to make us better, at least give us the same level Xhaka was giving us. It's nowhere near there, bro. Nowhere near there. So I personally think if he gets dropped the next game, who we got? We got United. Yeah, man, got United. But I'm paying for that on good money as well. I'm putting that on the big screens because I really want to watch that. But yeah, I mean, I think you drop him, we'll have a more fluid game, if that makes sense. You know, I'm quite happy with the way the team set up and everything. I don't mind. I understand that's an issue, but if you look at the bigger picture, if you put Partey, in fact, thinking about it now, put Ben White back out on the right, put Gabriel and Saliba there, Zinchenko on the left, right. You can have Partey and Rice, but a lot of people see that as a bit negative. Do you know what I'm saying? However, I see it as put Partey the one who's first back, even though Rice likes to do that. I'd put Rice there on the left and see what one was actually. You know what I'm trying to say? You know, I'll try to do that. Because people playing them together, you probably think, oh, it's a bit negative, man. There's not enough tackling fluidity, but they both can put decent balls into the box. Well, Partey can. Rice is starting to do it, which is good. Confidence needs to be there, but I'm not upset with the system. I still think the window's open for a bit longer. I still feel like we can upgrade in a few things, but you know, I'm not the manager. You know, I'm not employed by Arsenal, so I can only spectate and hope and pray, you know, for things to happen. But yeah, just to go back to your initial question, Kyle Havertz is not being scapegoat, but he deserves. Arsenal as a team deserve everything they're getting because he hasn't made us better, and it's been 3 games in. It's not like we played any. No disrespect to them, like Fulham, that we ain't played no big boys, so we shouldn't be dropping points. You're trying to say so?
Yeah. No, that's fair. Like you said, Arsenal have not played any of the big boys yet. And the thing with Havertz is that Rice was brought in at a time when reports were indicating that Partey was going to go. So whether people like it or not, and the indication is very early on from Arteta, the fact that Partey is now playing this right back role, inverted right back, is that he wants Rice to be his main 6.
Yeah.
Main DM. Cool. So, which means that Havertz was clearly brought in to replace Xhaka. Otherwise, I don't know what he was brought in for. Because you don't pay 65 million for a backup striker, which you would have been to Gabriel Jesus. So unless that's what he's done, I assume that he was brought in to cover that role, which is exactly what the role he's played in the first 3 games. Now, we obviously this is someone who's low on confidence because he's been bad for Chelsea for 2 years.
Yeah.
Not just one. He was horrible last year, but he was bad the year before too. And now he's coming into Arsenal, and I just look at Kai Havertz and I'm like, what are his strengths? What are his standout qualities? He's a decent passer, not great. Does he pass through the lines? Not really. Is he great at crossing? Doesn't get often into those positions, so that's something we're yet to see. Is he a great finisher? No, we've seen that at Chelsea. So he's not quick. He's not really strong.
Doesn't dribble.
Doesn't dribble. So what are his strengths? His strengths must come from off the ball, finding the right areas. A lot of times he's offside or coming back from offside positions.
Mm.
So it's not to criticize him. He does a lot of things to a decent to good standard, but he does almost nothing that I can think of to a high quality standard. And Shaka, for as much as he got killed for years, including by me, which he deserved in my opinion, none of the personal stuff, obviously anything football related, but um, he understood that role last year perfectly. And even he was much better at passing through the lines than Kai Havertz is, because
Yeah, 10
naturally, yeah, because naturally he's more of a midfielder than Kai Havertz is. The question still has been throughout the years, what is Kai Havertz? He played on the right wing at times like Leverkusen, but people looking at him were like, we're not sure if that's him. Chelsea then try him as a false nine, still not sure. They then try him at number 10 at times, still not sure. Now it comes to Arsenal, we're trying him in a specific left center mid role, and it's not clicking even though it's 3 games. So, like you said, 65 million. If it's an L, which at the moment it looks like it is, even though it's still early, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, made a mistake. It
Yeah,
didn't work. We can use him as a squad player, let him contribute that way. If he earns a spot back in the team, fantastic. If he doesn't, cool. Can we recoup some money for him next summer? If so, all right, cool. We move. Like you don't have to force it to work if it just doesn't.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And I just think for Arsenal, like, you know, they had a good system last year, really good. Zinchenko's now back from injury. Against United, I would expect it to be um I would expect it to be is 65 million over 3 seasons. I still assume that full 65 million is going to be paid. I'm pretty sure it's like 60 million guaranteed and 5 million add-ons or something like that. So regardless of whether it's been paid in full or not, it's going to be paid in full. Like because if he gets sold to another club, it's not like Chelsea are going to be like, oh yeah, nah, we only had him 1 season. It's not that's so for me. It's 60 million minimum is gone. 5 million potentially with add-ons, which I assume will be relatively easy add-ons for him to accomplish. It'll be appearances and things like that. Well, in fact, I carry on, let me read some of the comments. Mike saying Aston Villa will be a surprise package this season.
yeah,
Decent so far for sure. Arsenal look better without Kai Havertz,
yeah.
for sure. Jalil is still a Carney. We got Kozlak in the building.
My guy,
Uh,
man.
I like Kozlak. He said he wasn't booked to replace Shaka though. If he wasn't booked to replace Shaka, then what was he booked for? Genuine question. Otherwise, I'm really not sure. Um, the real test for Arsenal will come against Man United, or United haven't been at their best. Yeah, United are arse, I'll be honest. United are really, really bad.
They play
So
well
Arsenal,
against us, though.
hmm?
They always play well against us, though, man.
Yeah. Obviously, it's at the Emirates too, so it'll be an interesting game. But I just think against United, Arsenal should just have put in my opinion, put Raya in goal because I think that's what Arteta wants to do to
Yeah, you
just
want
get
something.
on with now, right? I do think there's a part of me that wonders if after the international break, he's gonna drop Ramsdale and put Raya in. Then that's what he did last year, if you remember, with Leno and Ramsdale.
Yeah,
He dropped Leno in the international break and put in Ramsdale. Um, so he might do that. I just put Ryan go White, Saliba, Gabriel, Sinchenko,
hmm,
Partey, Rice, Odegaard, and then Saka, Martinelli, and if Jesus can give me 60 minutes, Jesus for 60 minutes, and then bring on Nketiah or Trossard, whichever one the game feels like you need more. That's what I would do if I was Arteta. Um, Whether he will or not, that's another thing. I do think Arsenal might sign one more player.
I think they should.
I think they should as well. Obviously, Tavares is gone now to
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest.
Tierney
Uh,
gone?
Tierney's gone on loan to Sociedad.
Okay. Tierney.
So Tavares and Tierney are gone. So two left backs are gone. So then it's whether Balogun's gone to Monaco for 40 million, I think.
Yeah, Vanagon's gone.
So that's another player gone. So yeah, they're recouping some money back. Whether they're able to sign, what position would you go? Would you go for a forward? What would you go for, or another midfielder?
I'm quite happy with the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of happy with midfield. I mean, I think Trossard and Vieira could, and Elmo Smith Rowe, if they get in, can also play that role. So
Emil Smith Rowe. Would you
yeah,
would you send him to Chelsea?
asking these tough questions, John. Nah, I'll give him another season, bro. I really like him, but I'll give him another season with us, bro, because yeah, I don't want to see him gone. But if there was one position I want to see, and that's a right mid, that's just a backup to Saka, if I'm being honest. Because we Champions League, these games where group stages we give perfect scenario, 2-0 up, 60th minute, 70th minute, let Saka rest. We've got a game on the weekend, and then we go from there, kind of thing. So put on that person, and he does the same fire. And I know we're linked to so many people, man. I was that DRB guy, fam. Can't lie, I said, but he looks the part.
He's looking quite. I can't lie, he's impressing me so far.
Looks good. Looks good. So
he does look good still.
We flopped. We're so slow with business like that. We should have just gone aggressive and after guys we want. But with this Rice thing, we want to get Rice done first, and everyone else followed. I think that's ridiculous, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so, no, that's fair. That's fair. We got 7 people in the building. Smash the likes, everyone. Take a second right now. Smash the likes. So yeah, okay. Obviously we'll throw out to the people too. Should Kai Havertz start for Arsenal against Man United, or should Arteta go back to the team that he played with last year? But I mean, let's do some very, very quick player ratings. I'll do Ramsdale. I'll give him a 6 because of the last minute save that he made. That was key. Otherwise, he would have got a 5 because whilst the first goal was Saka's fault, I still think there's something mad about the way Ramsdale ended up diving for that ball. Like, I just don't get why he's spinning like that. Like, he should have been running back at pace, but he actually turned his full body, and it's actually quite mad what he did, because if the guy had hit it with power, I don't know how you could have expected to save it if you've got your body faced away from the ball. So obviously it's an instinctive thing. So, but yeah, I'll give him a 6 because that save at the end was fantastic. So I'll give him a 6. Partey at right back, Judo, what'd you give him?
I'll also give Partey a 6, man. It's hard to give someone who's a maestro in midfield who's playing right back. I can't really see him doing the business, man. He likes to defend. You can tell he likes to defend and get stuck in, win the ball and pass out. He gets energy out. But there's only so much you can do at right back, man. And that's not his key position. As I said, I'm not too angry about him being there and all that. But I'd rather see him in the midfield, if I'm honest. But yeah, he can hold a 6. It's just a bit above average, He's still done the business,
Yeah, no, I think a 6 is fair. Saliba, I thought Saliba was okay. I'll probably give him a 6. I mean, again, you can see 2 at home. I'll give him a 6. I thought he was okay. I didn't really see him much, to be honest. Ben White?
Yeah, Ben White again at 6 as well. I think, conceding 2 goals, not that they're at fault, but doing a bit more to do something, man. That goal that came in the second one, Paulinho smashed it in. I was just like, what the fuck was everyone? So no defender is going to get a decent rating for me, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fair. So with regards to Kivio at left back, again, an interesting choice to put him at left back, given he's a centre back. I might give him a 5 simply because maybe 5 is harsh. Like, he doesn't push forward in any way, and it makes sense. So he's a centre back playing the left back, so he's going to be so he doesn't really add anything from that perspective. Didn't really make any mistakes defensively, so maybe a 5 is harsh, but I just think he didn't really give the team anything from an attacking standpoint, to be honest. So yeah, I'll give him a 5. It's harsh, but I'll give him a 5.
I hear that.
What would you give Rice?
Yeah, Rice was probably one of my favourite players, man, if I'm being honest with you, bro. He got stuck in, tried to get involved, tried to be active. He can hold it. For me, he can hold a 7, man. He's trying to make shit happen. And there's only so much you can do when we're a bit unorganised. I mean, there's only so much you can do when you've got Kyle Havertz to your left. So he can hold a 7 for me, man.
Yeah, I thought Rice. I actually thought Rice was decent as well. So I think I'm not mad with you giving him a 7. But he showed some good things. He passed the ball in between the lines a few more times than that I knew he had in his locker. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come. But yeah, I think a 7 is fair. Havertz, I mean, yeah, 4. And that's simply because I didn't know he was playing, and if the only times I did is when he was messing up. So no offense to Havertz, but yeah, I'll give him a 4. Maybe I'm even being kind with that, but I don't want to kill the guy too much. Don't give him a 4.
Fair.
What would you give Odegaard?
Yeah, Odegaard was one of the guys who was trying to make it work as well, so he can get a 7 as well. He was really active, man, trying to make stuff happen. Just didn't give up. Real leader mentality there, bro. He was really active there and everything. So yeah, he can hold a 7 for sure.
Okay. What's it called? What was I gonna say? We got Saka again. Now Saka obviously gave away the first goal. It was his mistake that led to Fulham scoring. I didn't think he was that sharp, to be honest. I actually don't think he's been that good so far this season. He scored that banger against Forest, but outside of that, I actually think he's been pretty average. So for the mistake he made, he did score the pen, which Odegaard, interesting that Odegaard gave the penalties back to him. That must have been Saka must have asked him and said, yo, I want the pens back. But despite that, because of the first goal, how mistake it was, I have to give him a 5 to be terrible mistake. He didn't play that well. And I know he scored a pen, but it doesn't justify the rest of his performance. So I'm going to give him a 5.
That's fair.
Yeah. What would you give Martinelli?
Martinelli. I didn't see too much from him. And this might go down to, again, I mean, he was active. He was trying to make stuff happen, but this might go down to, again, who he's playing next to. And it's Kyle Havertz again. So sounds like I'm scapegoating him today, bro. Like, proper. But unfortunately, yeah, I'm going to give him a 6. You know, I would have given him as the other attackers.
Yeah, to be honest, I think I didn't really see Martinelli much either, to be honest. Like he was hugging the touchline well, got the ball from a few switches of play at times. But again, he wasn't at his sharpest either. And apart from like the first game of the season for the first 30 minutes where he was sharp, again, he's not been great either. So again, much more to come from the Arsenal wingers. So nothing to probably panic about. And then last but not least, Trossard. I actually thought he was the worst player on the pitch.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought he was. That's arguably the worst game I've seen him play for Arsenal. That's why I wasn't surprised when he came on at half time because he was just awful. Like everything he could do wrong first half, he did. His touch was off. His passing was off. He looked slow, weak. He was awful, bro. So I'll actually give him a 3. I thought he was the worst player on the pitch. And it's no surprise that Arteta hooked him off at half time because Arteta doesn't like to do that often. So the fact he did shows how bad Trossard was. So I'll give him a 3. But what would you have given Fabio Vieira actually for coming off the bench?
He probably was the best player. I'll give him an 8. That's a lot, I know, but
Nah, I think that's fair. He was brilliant, bro.
I don't think he put a foot wrong, especially when you have to attack and everything. He's probably one of my favorite players to watch, and he's come from someone who's been criticized, like, why did we sign him and everything, and he just really, really impressed me, man, to get that done. obviously, he still needs to beef up. I need to see him for 90 minutes before. But if you're gonna come and save the day, which he almost did save the day in terms of, you got. I can't just be like, no, fuck it, I hate him anyway. Just because I've been saying all this negative stuff about his game and everything. I got to give credit where it's due, man. He really impressed me. So if I can see a lot more of that, boy, I'm gonna be buzzing, man, for sure.
Yeah, no, I thought he was really good. And I think, again, it's important what you said there. Like, just because you had an opinion or have an opinion that you didn't think he was the best signing for the club, it doesn't mean like you can't give him, you're not allowed to give him praise when he does well. Because otherwise, we might as well all make one opinion now and then never change it again and hold that onto that for life. So yeah, he deserved the A. I think he was excellent. And if he plays like that, he's a real asset to the squad because you can see there's quite a lot of quality in that left foot, a lot of quality in that left foot. Um, so yeah, I think he's one to keep an eye on, depending on the more chances that he gets to play. But he showed a lot of good things. Um, well, yeah, so that's Arsenal, Fulham, um, Sheffield United, Man City. Um, Now, this wasn't really a game for like 80 minutes. I know it was only 1-0, but City had like 30 shots and Sheffield United had like one.
Mm.
It was a total battering. Haaland missed a pen. He eventually gets his goal, which is what Haaland does. Then Kyle Walker tries a back heel in the box.
Yeah.
United score. It's all mad. Then Rodri comes, smashes one top corner with his weak foot. And then, to be fair, actually, Sheffield United probably should have equalized after that.
They should have.
They had a big chance to equalize, and then all of a sudden, a game that City should have won 5-4, 5-1 easily ends up 2-2. But they got the job done 2-1. Rodri, we've been speaking about him today in one of my other group chats, and we're asking how good is this guy? Because it's 3 years now of top class performances, which often go under the radar. Um, like how good would you say he's definitely the best defensive midfielder in the world right now? And like what is his ceiling like? How good can he be and could he potentially be remembered when it's all said and done?
Yeah, Rodri's got a massive ceiling. I think he is currently the best at the moment. We have to say. I do think you know, Partey's probably better in terms of passing for the lines and everything on those lines. But just because he's better at certain things doesn't mean Rodri's not a an overall better player. So for me, yeah, Rodri's got a massive ceiling, man, massive ceiling. He can only get better because you can't keep coming clutch with them every single time. Like I was watching that game, I always knew they were going to win. Like I always knew City was going to win from even when it came 1-1. Walker, almost ended the game, and Walker gives the ball away and they score. I just knew something was going to happen, and when it happened, I just looked at my friends and everything. I was like, "See, I told you." It's City, man. They don't just chill, lay down, man. They will get at you. They will get your neck, man. And they done that, man, and they done the business, and they got a goal. So, man, big them up, man, at the end of the day, man. It's annoying to see, especially as a Arsenal fan who we say we're in competition with them now and everything along those lines. But it's one of those things, man. What could you do, man? The City, bro. Pep's got them like a well-oiled machine and stuff like that. It's hard to break them down, and I'm starting to hear a lot of talks how they're going to try and do the Invincibles for this season, which is kind of crazy. And I know they say it every year.
Talks have started already, yeah.
But 3 games in, their fans are going at it. People are trying to wind Arsenal fans up about it and everything. This is the Farmers League now, City's League. Why can't they do the Invincibles one season and it's looks like the season? Because if you look at it, who's actually, because Arsenal's not there. If you said who's actually going to threaten City? Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah, 100%. They've got the closest chance to doing the business. But who actually will beat City? If you think about it, who's actually got firepower to beat City? I can't think of any, bro. Only Liverpool. I would have said us because how close it was last season. But with Cal Havertz on the left, see, I've got him again. I'm killing this guy. It's not happening, man. It's not happening, I'm afraid. So yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I just think to go unbeaten though, that's to not lose one game, bro. Not one off day.
Not one off day, bro.
like I think they even have to look at that game against Sheffield United to see like, bro, like they should have won 4-5-1, bro, and they almost drew 2-2. That's how fine margins football can be. So, like, I just think to already making projections about unbeaten and all that, get to 25 games. If you get to 25 games and you're still unbeaten, okay, have it. Now you can start to maybe saying, you know what, we're thinking about this. Until then, just try and do what you've done for years, which is win leagues for the last 5. So City know what they're doing, but obviously Lamps, big up Lamps always.
My guy.
We were talking about how good Rodri could be, and he gave 10 names that he thinks are definitely better than Rodri. So let me give you these names, and I just want you to say, because Rodri plays for the next few years, how high could he go in the all-time defensive midfielder list, right? So then Lamps gave me 10 names he thinks are better than Rodri. Now, I'm going to give you the names one by one.
Wait, still playing now or
all time?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to give you these names now. Tell me, just like yes or no, can Rodri be better than this person? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1 that Lamps gave, Kimmich. I think he's already better.
Kimmich plays for Bayern Munich, Germany.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's up there, man. I don't think Rodri's on his level yet.
So you think Kimmich is better than Rodri, yeah?
No, I'll be lying because I don't watch too much of Kimmich football. From the games and the highlights I see, Kimmich does boss the midfield. He's very active. I'm gonna say they're par. I'm gonna see a bit more their par.
That's fair. Do you think Rodri will become better than Gilberto Silva?
Bit of a bias in that one though. But
yeah.
I think he can.
I think he's one that he can potentially pass. Another one, Kante.
Kante for sure, because I'll be honest with you, Rodri brings a bit more to the game than Kante. Kante was the guy who breaks up play, which Rodri does, but Rodri also plays the ball out and he scores goals. He's been clutch moments. Kante doesn't do clutch moments, so I'm going to say Rodri's better, yeah.
Okay, and then obviously we start getting to some serious names. Oh, Mascherano. What do you think about the Mascherano one?
That's interesting, but I think to do that at this stage where he is now, I think we've got to give Rodri another couple of years first before we say that.
Yeah, that's fair. And then you start getting onto your Makelele's, Vieira's, Casemiro, Fernandinho, so obviously you start getting to and Busquets, of course. So I think by the end, Rodri can be better than Kante, Gilberto Silva, Mascherano, Kimmich, if he isn't already, and Fernandinho, maybe.
I think so.
I think Makelele, I think Busquets, Makelele, Vieira will be hard to touch. I think that'll be hard to touch. I can't lie. But I just thought it was good for us to talk about Rodri just because he just doesn't get enough respect. He's only starting to now and why is he starting to get respect now? Because he's people are seeing the goals that he gets, the clutch goals. So now he's getting some GAs. Now he's getting his love. But it's like, bro, have you not been watching him for the last 2-3 years? The guy is consistent. So yeah, man, big up Rodri and big up City. Even Kovacic is looking like a steal for them at 25 million, you know.
Yeah, no, he looks good, bro. He looks good, but he was always good for Chelsea. I think he was the wrong team.
Yeah, literally wrong team. Speaking of wrong team, Cucurella just signed for Man United on loan.
On loan.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully they get the Brighton one and not the Chelsea one, Cucurella, because then they'll be in a good position.
Looks like
For
he's
me,
going to
that's
start Arsenal, though.
yeah. He's gonna play
He's
against
on
us.
against Arsenal, yeah, I reckon he will.
He plays outside, so he's gonna be up against Saka.
Saka could cook him still. Cucurella's not the best defender.
I think there was one time Cucurella for Brighton had Saka in his pocket. That was one game.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
And that's when I had a guy and everyone was pissed. Like, what? How can you say about Saka? Subway. I was just being realistic. I didn't do nothing from that game. So, yeah, no, man. I mean, for me, that's a good signing for United. If I'm being honest, it's not amazing, but it's a good signing. You know, with what they've got and everything. But even United, man, their midfields, all three of them scored last week, didn't they? I don't know how they went 2-0 down. I was expecting them to more goals to get going, but they turned it around. You got to give them the credit, man. You got to give them the credit sometimes because I wish we could have done that and held it. You know what I mean? Everyone's making comebacks, and when it's Arsenal against 10 men, Fulham at home, you just start to ask questions, bro. It's normal to ask questions.
It's fair to ask questions when obviously the performances haven't been at the best. I think for United though, there's still a lot of room for concern. I can't lie, because to be 2-0 down at home to Forest on 4 minutes is pretty scary stuff. And I just think for them at the moment, there's no balance in the team, especially in midfield, which everybody says. With Hodgson out, Martial finished, they don't really have a number 9. Anthony is just looking like one of the worst signings in Premier League history. And yeah, so there's a lot of uncertainty around Man United, which is weird given it's Ten Hag's second season. There shouldn't be all this uncertainty. I think Cucurella, like you said, I think can be a good signing for them at left back, just to do a job while Luke Shaw's out. And if you do get the Cucurella from Brighton, if you get him back, now you've got a serious question about, okay, maybe he can start, because that Cucurella from Brighton, Man City wanted him at the time. There's a lot of players.
Yeah.
He was really wanted. He was really coveted. So he was a real good player. So yeah, I think that's one to watch. I think that probably they might be signing another player as well, Højbjerg, which again,
I saw that.
Yeah, which again I think stopgap. But again, United are doing some weird signings. I'll be honest. If they sign him, I think it's a weird one. Cucurella makes sense. You've got 2 injured left backs. Both of them are injured. You sign him. He's played well before in the Prem. Everyone was terrible at Chelsea last year. Literally everybody. So maybe give him a second chance, new lease of life. But yeah, I mean, so just moving on, just to kind of wrap up, obviously. Spurs, Chelsea, both winning at the weekend. Spurs looked good against Bournemouth, winning 2-0. Maddison scoring. They look really good. And Chelsea beating Luton 3-0. Sterling 2 brilliant goals.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson getting his first goal for Chelsea. Like, who would you say, like, because obviously Chelsea have played Liverpool as well and drew. They had that loss to West Ham, but this season is top 5, it looks like, that gets Champions League.
Okay.
Aston Villa as well, who beat Burnley. They've now got 2 wins out of 3. They're looking good as well. Who would you say at the moment is impressing you? You're thinking, I really like some of the signs how they're playing. Even Brighton have 2 wins out of 3. And who are you saying? Are you thinking, I'm worried about them from like that top 8 or so that I've just listed?
I'll say, who was it again? So the ones that are impressing was obviously, I didn't think they would, but Spurs have been looking half decent with how they've been playing everything really well. There's still more to see with Chelsea. I think they're still gelling everything along those lines, but Spurs, when you look at the midfield, they actually look pretty solid, man. That's Sarr, and now we get to see Bazuma do the business now. I don't know why he was benched for so much during last season, but they actually look like real solid holding midfielders right there. which you don't want to go against because then they like to retain the ball and then keep it moving. Son's done the business, Maddison is a touch as well because Maddison likes to play with players like that. Win me the ball, give it to me, and then we pop it off. He's looked good, and I think a lot of people have been saying, let's see Maddison at a decent team, and as much as we clown Spurs and everything, they are a decent team. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see. So I'll say like Spurs can blow a few teams at the park, man. Their counter attack is crazy, man. They got a crazy counter attacking team, so it could work for them. They seem to be more solid in defense as well. I heard Dyer might be going to Bayern Munich as well. Saw that today on Sky Sports.
Eric Dyer.
Yeah, because of Pavard. Is it Pavard? The French
Pavard, yeah, he wants to leave,
He wants to leave, so they want a bit of cover. But I think personally, Harry Kane said, "Listen, don't feel comfortable here. I need one of my English brothers up for me." Do you know what I mean? Eric Dyer ain't getting a couple games. Why don't you just get him here for a couple cup games? Do you know what I mean? So I saw that today, which is a bit bizarre, but. And that was on Sky Sports as well.
Yeah, it is. Apparently, Harry Kane has been talking him up. Mad.
So, and we know that's probably going to happen. And he's not going to be expensive. He's going to be very cheap, and he probably will fit into the system. Do you know what I mean? So, and a team that I'd say that I'm worried, might be worried about is it was if West Ham lost, I would have said West Ham. But Brighton, it's a bit crazy that they got pumped like that by West Ham. Do you know what I'm saying? So Brighton might need to just reconsider a few things. I don't think they're shit. I don't think they're going down. But they will be above mid-table, of course. But they've really, with the investments they've done, the money they spend, the signings they brought in, and how well they played in the last 2 years, if we're being totally honest.
2 years, yeah.
Should be doing better than this, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'd say Brighton, they need to step it up, but it's getting a bit worrying to see that, you know what I mean? And was they at home? Was they at home as well?
They were at home, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's West Ham, and they had a poor season other than winning the cup. So you got to think about that, man.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because obviously Brighton slapped Wolves up in their first game. No, actually, in the first game they slapped Luton. Second game they slapped Wolves. So they were coming off back-to-back 4-1 wins. And then I think West Ham Brighton still have some deficiencies defensively that if they're not at their best, can still get caught out on the wrong day. And that's what West Ham did. Because West Ham now, they play to their strengths. They play on the break. They've got Antonio now back through the middle for number 9. They tried the Samaka thing last year. It didn't really work. Antonio's now back in. Bowen, Benrahma on the wings. Now they've got Kudus as well.
Yeah.
Ghanaian midfielder, really good. They add him to Alvarez from Ajax, who's good. Ward-Prowse has the set pieces. They've signed Mavropanos, the ex-Arsenal defender, who's actually pretty good. They're building a nice little team, solid unit that David Moyes will like. So I think Brighton shouldn't be worried. But like you said, it's just that thing of, again, sometimes Zerbi says that they don't want to just aim for Europa League. They want to aim higher. So when you want to aim higher, you have to understand that there will be games you're expected to win, like West Ham at home, and you still have to be at your best. And if you're not at your best, you have to find ways not to lose those games. And that's the difference with the best teams. That's what they do. They find ways not to lose games because they have the extra quality to make up for it. So yeah, I think Spurs, like you said, are looking really good. They could definitely surprise a lot of people this year. That midfield of Basuma and Madison in there is looking really good. Son has started well. Richarlison is terribly off form.
Shit, man.
Yeah, I can't lie. He's not good. I think they might sign a striker before deadline day. Will be interesting to see who they get, who they try and go for. They were linked to Balogun at one point. Obviously, Arsenal dismissed that given the Spurs rivalry. But yeah, it'll be, I think so far from what we've seen after 3 games, outside of Man City, it's relatively wide open. I'm still comfortable with the top 3 of City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. Them 3 are the best 3. But after that, I can't lie, that 4th and 5th slot are wide open. Like any one of United, Newcastle, Villa, Brighton, and who's the other team? Spurs and Chelsea. So I've just listed out 6 teams there. 6 teams, 2 slots. So it's mad. It's mad.
It's crazy, man.
It is mad. But yeah, but listen, what would you say, just to wrap up, who is your superstar of the weekend and who's your fraud of the weekend?
Superstar of the weekend's got to be Nunez, man. You can't be losing. You can't be losing all that, and then 10-man. I keep saying 10-man Liverpool, and Van Dijk's a very vital player. That's foundation there. That's foundation. You start foundation. He's your foundation, and he went there for the majority of the game. So it's quite impressive. I was really impressed for what Liverpool done. So they're gonna be my. I know Nunez. I'm gonna give it to Nunez directly because I feel like he's trying to say, "Listen, start me," and I feel like this is a reason to because he got some 2 good goals that they won in the game. Ford. I think you already know what I'm going to say here. But I don't know if I should just put it as Carl Havertz because it wasn't his. It wasn't like, sign me, begged you, sign me. Jorginho, speak to Arteta. I know that's your guy, but come on. I don't think it was that, if I'm honest with you. I'm going to give it to the whole of Arsenal because you can't have 10-man Fulham mid-table team, if that, and you draw it home to them at your home. And you're up 2-1. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Arsenal as a whole, man. Unfortunately, and I hardly give it to. I always find an excuse. There's other teams out there. I could have given it to Brighton, but if you look at the bigger picture and how long we've been talking about this for, it's getting ridiculous, bro. So yeah, Arsenal's got to hold that one, bro.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'd also give my superstar of the weekend to Nunez. I think he deserves it. 2 brilliant finishes when they needed it. Huge win for Liverpool. So I'm going to give it to Nunez. In terms of fraud of the weekend, a few contenders. Arsenal are up there. I feel like, did any teams get slapped this weekend? I don't feel like anyone really got
What was the Brighton West Ham score?
That was 3-1 to West Ham. It's not
really
really a slapping. I think I might give my fraud of the weekend to. I might give it to Everton, only because 3 games, 3 losses. They shouldn't have lost 2 of them. I'll be honest. First game they should have won or lost. Last game they probably should have won or at least drawn but lost. Not clinical. They've just signed the Udinese striker Beto, good player. So he might make a difference up front because Calvert-Lewin now can't be trusted because he has too many injury problems. But regardless, any team that starts with 3 losses should be a team that should be thinking alarm bells. We need to get our act together and quick. And they've got Sheffield United away this weekend. If they lose that, they might be in trouble. And they've been flirting with relegation for a few years now. So yeah, they could be in trouble. But there's some juicy games as well again this weekend. I can see Brighton, Newcastle, Liverpool, Villa, Arsenal, United. So there's another good weekend of fixtures coming up. And then we got the damn international break, which is a shame. But hey, we're used to that by now. But yeah, listen, people, we're gonna wrap it up. It's been a good show. Big up everyone who's tuned in. Anyone who tunes in afterwards, make sure you smash the likes. Follow us, subscribe to us on the YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Engage. Drop a comment. Drop your thoughts on the weekend. Anything from the weekend that stood out, drop a thought. Make sure you smash the like button, as you said. It's super important for us. And we're going to be back later this week. But do make sure to subscribe to RBT. Keep an eye out for all our content. We appreciate you all, as always, for tuning in. We're out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.